Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Going to pull back the curtain a little bit here. Two things. One, I'm recording this back to back with my previous video. It's a quiet Sunday afternoon here, so I figured I'd just knock out casting the next game in my online 2025 War of the Ring tournament. Also, this is my fifth attempt at casting this video. The passwords and the cards have been giving me trouble. I believe I have that resolved. We'll find out together, I guess. And by together, I mean if you're seeing this, it must have worked. My previous game against Cisseas, I'm going to continue to get that wrong, apparently, as well, was really good. I encourage you to go watch that video. I did of that. And since I was Shadow last game, I will be Free People this game. I begin with Help Unlooked For and There and Back Again, which are pretty rotten cards for the Free People. Nothing there for Gandalf to play. Pretty useless cards early. There and Back Again could be interesting, I guess, but he gets Monsters Roused, which a Desperate Battle is nice, and Candles of Corpses, which is a generically good card, so that's good. He allocated 0 eyes and rolled none. So just like the game I played against him, 0 eyes were allocated, 0 eyes were rolled, and the Free People rolled 2 moves and 2 other dice. So a character, a will, and 2 other dice. I believe he had a muster and a hybrid, and I get 2 Palantirs, which is slightly sad because I have nothing to play for Gandalf. So we'll get into it here. I have a bit of a comment. I move immediately, which I'll comment on more in a minute. He puts Isengard to war, moves Barad-dûr to Gorgoroth, and Farharad to Nirharad. Cool. And I draw a strategy card with a Palantir, thinking, okay, well, I'll just spend the other one. That's the most likely deck to have a card I'm willing to play and want to play with Gandalf, so I'll just hope to get that. I'll comment on that just a minute more. And he draws Rage of the Dunlendings. So now you have Rage of the Dunlendings and Monsters Roused in an early hand. Interesting, right? And then he has to go. So while he's going, while he takes a quick break, I sit there and I think, wait a minute, I could have passed a ton. And if he just brings in Saruman, I could separate Gandalf with the Palantir of There and Back Again, move him almost all the way to Grey Havens to threaten Fearfire Foes and Book of Marzarbul, and then get Gandalf the White round 1 with a will. Now, against 0 eyes, I think that's a pretty hard sell, but it's definitely something I hadn't considered until that point. And I was actually considering it now. I've got 1 move in. A normal game, you get 1 move in. So, pretend he rolled an eye and missed, and I moved once. That would be a pretty standard game. And getting Gandalf round 1 would be pretty good, at the cost of fully sacrificing all of his corruption soaking. So, I don't think I'm not sure it's a good play. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's not. And he doesn't even allow me the option. I allowed him the option because I wasn't thinking about it, I believe. I don't remember. For being, an hour ago, I don't remember the game that well. But he moves Gorgoroth from Moranon. We talk about that play. And then he goes west with Dol Guldur. So, okay. I pass. And he draws into Foul Thing from the Deep. So, interesting. Yeah, you can't play any of these cards. I mean, you could play Monsters Roused, but talk about telegraphing your hand. Okay. He draws a character card. Cool. Since he can wait me out, I just go ahead and move again. He gets Saruman. And I go ahead and give an Elven Ring to move a 3rd time. I think a free move here. Almost through Moria. I think it's a decent play. And he puts Sauron to war. Yep, that seems fine. So a largely uneventful first round, although I think that the discussion about a round 1 Gandalf the White is interesting. I draw into an Ents and Power 2 Great. So Power 2 Great is obviously excellent here for him going for Lorien. I might be able to stall him out long enough to get reinforcements in there, so that would be good. He draws into Flocks of Crebain and Fighting Uruk-hai. Flocks is marginal usefulness. This hand is pretty good, but maybe not the exact cards you're seeing. The exact cards you want. I tease that the Fellowship considers declaring, and he rolls 4 eyes. So, against my 3 characters and a will. So, I almost certainly get to kill Gandalf this round. He barely can put Lorien under, but if I spend my will on Power 2 Great, he can't even do that, probably. Yeah, he could technically still, but still, that'd be awful. On the other hand, it's 3 C's and a will against 5 eyes. That's tough. It's kind of inconvenient, actually. But I certainly will move once, so let's go ahead and do that. I get hit, and I draw 2. Absolutely going to take Gandalf here. And in fact, a non-reveal is excellent here, too. I mean, a reveal would have been fine. Put me on the other side, lets me use one of these character dice as a hide. Yeah, in fact, a non-reveal here is a little troublesome. So he goes ahead and musters in North Dunland. He has seen what I was commenting about. He has Rage of the Dunlendings and Monsters Roused. He could maybe make a pretty good early Rivendell play. So what do you do here as free people? Character dice, if they're not moving the Fellowship, are actually really useless early. There's really nothing. I could retreat Fords of Eisen. However, I do have 4 turns banked, or 4 moves banked. So, and I have Theron back again. So what I choose to do, good or not, is send Legolas home. He has just enough movement with the +1 from Theron back again to get to Woodland Realm. If the Moranon army goes north, I'll have plenty of time to react. And I get to activate and move dwarves north and elves down, which is actually pretty good for me here, I would say. 3 musters. I have sacked 2 corruption for free, but I'm 4 moves in and have taken a fairly efficient Gandalf. So I'm doing okay on corruption. I think that was a pretty decent play. He goes ahead and pops Rage of the Dunlendings early. 1 unit early. I think you kind of got to. You just don't have time for whatever nonsense I'm pulling. And he goes to South Downs, since it's equidistant to Rivendell and the Shire. You at least make me pretend. At least pretend you're making a push for the Shire. Although I think the Shire is a pretty poor play at this point, I would say. That army can't really take the Shire and Grey Havens and not die to a mustered Northman army from Bree. So Rivendell is fairly evidently the choice, but you leave your options open. I of course get Gandalf the White. There's no way not getting Gandalf is the correct decision. And then he burns a hybrid for Monsters Roused. I feel the dual move to Trollshaws and Dimril Dale is better here. Your hybrid's going to be better used as a hybrid, and use a Palantir next round for Monsters Roused if you really feel like it. And you're giving me more time to do either manually mustering the elves or drawing Rivendell or a Kindred of Glorfindel. I don't know. This feels a little wacky to me. I feel like waiting for a Palantir would be more worth your time there. But maybe not. Maybe not. And then I do something I don't think I've ever done before, maybe ever, and certainly not in the Java client. I don't think it's in the Java client. I don't want to move again. The Shadow Army is fairly slow to get going here, and it's 5 eyes through Moria. I've already lost Gandalf, so I don't need to move again. 4 moves in, 2 rounds in is great. That's fine. So I use Legolas's ability to muster the elves with any die. Which is pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever gotten to do that before. So that actually has a strong possibility of really mattering because I'm holding Power 2 Great. So I might get to muster into both Rivendell and Lorien. He draws Lidless Eye and a swarm of bats, so that's pretty good. Actually, it's not good, but it would be funny to play Return of the Witch King. That top half is so bad. Even here where it theoretically matters. Holy cow. And I draw into Athelas and Dane, which is, just salt in the wound there. Athelas is a great card to have while Strider's in the lead, and I can burn it. I can I can take Corruption knowing I will burn it off with Athelas. Dane Ironfoots is a great card to have. I go ahead and declare through Moria. I know some people wouldn't do that. Looking back at it now, maybe it would have been worth it to not allow the inevitable rerolls. I mean, rerolls are coming for Rivendell, but only 1. Yeah, I could see an argument for not declaring there. I hadn't considered that in the moment. Interesting. 1 eye allocated, 2 eyes rolled. He's hot on eyes, and I roll an excellent roll for this round. 2 musters is great for the elves. 2 character dice for removing the fellowship. I'm happy. I wouldn't have minded a Palantir, but I prefer all of these dice over a Palantir. And I think I make a slightly... expecting the inevitable rerolls, I move, and then I'm just hit anyway for a 3. And then I random, which I think is super risky while holding Athelas. I don't need to take the 20% chance I burn Strider. Thankfully, I random into Gimli, which is the best option here. Well, maybe a Hobbit. Hobbit would have been a better option, actually. But that was a super risky move. I didn't need to make that happen. That was poor play by me. And he moves from Weather Hills to Trollshaws and South Anduin Vale to Dimraldale. I don't think that... And Cisseas, you were an excellent opponent. I'm not trying to be wacky here. I'll call plays on both sides as I see them. I think you got to do South Downs to Trollshaws. You got to threaten putting me under so that if I manually muster, I only get 1. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. Feels a little wacky, is I guess all I'm saying. And then I use my will to play Power 2 Great. So the elves are at war, and you're in the position of... You have Lidless Eye, so that's a good burn. And you have Fighting Uruk-hai, which is good enough. So he burns a muster. Yeah, you got to. And burns Lidless Eye and Fighting Uruk-hai. So at least you had cards that weren't terrible. Losing Fighting Uruk-hai is sad for Rivendell, but because of the weird half move, I mean, you couldn't have known I had Power 2 Great, but I get to muster in Lorien. You move out of Moranon and up to Trollshaws, and then I get another muster in Rivendell. You put Rivendell under, cool. You don't even really have enough to put Lorien under, really, and you're worried I might move again, which I do. Yeah, I guess I have Athelas, so I'm not worried about corruption right now, and thankfully you miss, which, You hit twice on the first one, so I don't think we can complain too bad. And you go ahead and get the Witch King. So, which makes sense in Rivendell. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Things have gone pretty well for me the first 2 rounds. I'm now 6 steps from Rivendell. I'm halfway to Mordor, and you're besieging only 2 points. Nothing else is even under threat. So that's excellent for me, obviously. Yep. Free people's luck be good. I go ahead and draw into Ents and Guards. Hjorndark. Let's go ahead and sing the praises of Hjorndark. You draw into what? Wormtongue and Many Kings. Wormtongue is 1 turn too late to turn off Rohan. Many Kings is fine. Actually, you could put your 2 in near Harad, South Rune, and North Rune, and you have your full stack in the south and east. Also, it's a great host in Rivendell, which is a little unlikely, but you could maybe burn 1 guy if you do it first round. Your Swarm of Bats is, yeah. What do I discard? Probably the Help Unlooked For. I don't know. That was a weird noise. Sorry, everyone. The No Quarter is actually pretty decent in the north. Do I burn an End? I burn the Help Unlooked For. Not sure I'm feeling that, but okay. Fellowship declares out from under the rerolls. 1 I allocated, 1 I rolled. Man, you're hot on things you don't want. Palantirs are okay. You at least have cards to play. You have Foul Thing, Candles, and Flocks of Crebain. So you have stuff you're willing to play at least. I roll into a very versatile role. And then I look at this and I think, do I want to spend musters in Lorien? I only have 2 elites and 2 regulars left. If I muster another elite into Lorien, surely it's effectively never going to fall. But Woodland Realm starts becoming very hard to reinforce usefully. And I look at the situation and I decide that I think I'd rather just... Lorien will fall slowly right now, and I'd rather do other things. So I go ahead and move the Fellowship. I'm hit for 2 reveal. So that's mildly annoying, but I reveal over 1 step, and I just take the corruption because I have Athelas. You play Phlox, makes total sense. I hide with a hybrid using Strider, and you Foul Thing, which is, of course, annoying for me, but excellent for you. And you Foul Thing into an eye. So, oof, you're 4 out of 14. Fail the 4 out of 14, and half half the tiles were 4 out of 13. 4 out of 13. Half the tiles roughly were reveals. So you had a pretty good shot of doing something useful, but that's the way those cards be. Yeah, and I say, here, have some salt for that wound as I play Athelas for 2. So for 3, for 3 is Strider. Oh, geez. So now I'm 7 steps from Rivendell with 0 corruption, having lost only Gandalf, Gimli, and Legolas. So I'm in pretty good shape. You play Candles of Corpses, put 1 back on the board. Okay. I Will of the West, and in fact, I just move. Yeah, you have no rerolls. You're going to Phlox of Crebain me, but if I move now, I'm basically guaranteed Mordor next round if I want it with a ring. Before you've cycled too hard for cruel weather or whatever, or red tiles, I'm in excellent shape. I can take the hit if I want. Honestly, getting down to Gollum wouldn't be terrible. I ask if you're using Phlox, and you do, and you miss. Oh, no. 2 dice for 4s. So now we're in Sad Town. We're in Sad Town now. You move Nazgul. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you gotta slow me down somehow. I don't know. Not sure. I think all your options are terrible. I note that I have a move banked because you haven't blocked both of my declare routes for the fellowship. Cool. Rivendell is attacked. Strategy card. Strategy card. You don't want to cycle your character cards, I guess. And you great host, as I had predicted, to try and get one hit out before your stack is reduced too much. And I do shield wall since Gondor appears to be fine, and I want to delay this as much as possible. You do get 2, which is reduced for shield wall, and I get 1. So the great host does trigger, and I have to take it in 2 separate hits, which is annoying. So I downgrade an elite and then take the regular. I don't know. Probably just downgrading 2 elites is worth it here. Do I really anticipate spending the 2 regulars elsewhere? But I'm nearly tapped out of Elven Pool already. I don't know. You press and draw into Ologhai. So that's an excellent card for you. I do say, don't forget to reduce like I did. Yeah. Surely this is a Swarm of Bats now. I know card, though. So Swarm of Bats is just a +1 on the reroll. You don't need it. Well, you sort of don't need it. You got 3 hits. I get 1 back. But now we're in Trouble Town in Rivendell. Rivendell's just going to fall. You press no card, and you get it. So kind of a falling with a splat. That could have gone way worse for me. But you put the resources into it. So I make a quick interesting note that it would be interesting if Lorien fell if you lose the Galadriel's Elven Ring, Nenya, and then if you lose Rivendell, if you lost Vilya. I thought that'd be interesting. I don't think that's a good rule balance-wise, but it was just an interesting note. You then attack Lorien. I'm me. So I sit here for a good hot second thinking about spending Danes in a field fight. The elves are at war. I can muster after the fact. You're not going to take me. But like a good little boy, I go under. I figure that army sitting on top of me is going to do nothing. You aren't taking it. You're going to have to muster a whole nother army, like a support army to take Lorien. And I'd rather you spend the time there. So then I do the half moves. And I actually move. So I do Edoras to Westamnet. And at this point, I am noting that it's unclear where the Dagorlad army is going. It could go north, yet the Elven Pool is largely depleted and will be more depleted, be more at risk if Lorien falls, because then I won't be able to play Celeborns or whatever. But maybe it's going west to Gondor. And you're so far away from the dwarves or Old Forest Road that the other half move being over there seems unnecessary. I could do like North Downs to Buckland to protect the Shire, but these 5 regulars don't feel like a threat on the Shire at all right now. So I actually move Osgiliath to North Ithilien. I'm not sure I really like the play, but I think it's okay. I think it's fine. Nir Harad moves out, and Dagorlad moves to Eastern Emondweel, which at least some of that army moving there appears to have been your plan all along. So now, no matter where I declare, you get a reroll. Yeah, it sucks that you have to move out the Nir Harad army before you... you did burn many kings, so never mind. Yeah, threaten Dol Amroth, tendentially. I'm not sure I like the whole stack going to Eastern Emmenwheel, but no, that's fine. And you have to leave a guy behind because I put the North Ithilien guy, so that's kind of fun for me. He kind of, quote unquote, did a hit without being at war. Did a hit. That's a sentence people say. Inflicted a damage, maybe a bit more. I draw into Wisdom of Elrond and We Prove the Swifter. Decent cards, maybe useful here. I have guards and 2 Ents, so maybe I just burn the Ents and then We Prove the Swifter Gandalf, even into Lorien, honestly, wouldn't be terrible. Or Minas Tirith. And you draw into Nazgul Strike, which is excellent for the turn where I hope to get to Mordor, and Stormcrow. I mean, it's not Crow Weather, but Nazgul Strike's about as good as you can hope for. I say now I understand the Nazgul. I declare under Eastern Emmenwheel because then that army can't leave until I've moved. And if you want to spend a turn putting Nazgul on me, I'm actually okay with that right now. Fellowship's okay, and I ask if you're as lucky as I was on Crow Weather. You do allocate 2 eyes and roll 2 eyes, which is possibly really could be really damaging. Southrons and Easterlings aren't at war and can't be at war, so I don't have to spend my Will of the West first in Fear of Day Without Dawn. I go ahead and move before you get more rerolls on me, and I'm safe. Unfortunately, now is, of course, the perfect time to Nazgul Strike, and all the Nazgul come down for a fairly inevitable attack on Gondor, maybe Rohan. After this, I mean, I guess theoretically they could go all the way to Lorien, but okay, so that makes sense. And the roll is a hit, so that's of course annoying for both of us because you draw the 0 reveal, and I get to declare unto North Ithilien. So my little North Ithilien guy is protecting me, and I spend a Palantir to hide with Strider. With Faramir, I get to hide with Faramir, I say, which is fun. And you are forced, if you want your rerolls, to attack North Ithilien and put Gondor towards war, which is actually really handy. You choose to cycle a card. Yeah, cycle Foul Stench. Get that out of here. That's. I play a card. I play Confusion in an attempt to just whittle you down, and I get 2 hits. So effectively, my regular here has done 2 hits from the Confusion and 1 hit by forcing you to leave a guy in Daggerlad, which is excellent. Now this army is not really great and not even enough to take Minas Tirith. You do get to draw into a reptile, which is excellent for you. That's exactly what you're looking for. I muster Gondor to war manually because I have to do something. I think moving to get into Mordor here was correct instead. But I don't. Okay. I say quite a different game despite similar starts. Yeah. Southrons and Easterlings move towards war, but they're not even at war. And I think about whether do I move into into Mordor. It's against 4 eyes with 2 rerolls. You're almost certainly going to hit, and so I burn putting in a leader in Minas Tirith and a regular in Pelargir. I probably should have just moved and given myself the opportunity to make that same decision in a hot minute. So that's probably just strictly wrong. South Rune moves to East Rune, and Minas Morgul moves to North Ithilien. Yep, total makes sense moves. But not going into Mordor here makes very little sense. If I can get into Mordor, put you on a timer. The military is going extremely slow. I'm extremely healthy as the Fellowship. Giving you a free cruel weather by not getting onto Mordor this round is just not going to be worth it. So I move. You do hit. and it's an eye, which is unfortunately as bad as it gets. I do random, and you random into Strider, and then you draw one reveal, which I just take. So that was painful. I'm hitting Mordor with -2 corruption, quote unquote. The bright side is Boromir and the two hobbits can be spent perfectly efficiently, almost certainly. You have some ones and zeros in there, but I can just tank the ones until you draw a 2 or a 3, and I just do what I need to do. So that's good. No cruel weather, but you do get a red tile in. So, and you draw into another red tile. So good timing on the red tiles. They're on the top of your deck, which is pretty good, 2 at least. And Shadow's Gather is excellent. Not super duper helpful here, but assumably it will be used to reinforce Lorien, from Moria, or even from Fords of Isen, potentially, or to reinforce Fords of Isen from Lorien. It's such a good card. I draw into the Eagles Are Coming and Book of Mazarbul. Weirdly, because Legolas is in Woodland Realm, Book of Mazarbul is on the table, or at least, available to be played. What do you throw here? The Eagles Are Coming. The heroic death is minimal. No, I throw an Ent. I suppose. Saruman's not going anywhere. The heroic death may be useful in the north. I suppose. It feels a little... not sure. 3 eyes allocated, none rolled, so we're on a full corruption strategy. Yeah, military wasn't going super well. I can understand that. Unfortunately for you, I get a banger roll. I use a will to hide. You put a red tile in. Cool. Since you have no character dice, I am no longer in danger of you spending another die putting a red tile in, so I go ahead and muster in Pelargir. You put the Southrons and Easterlings to war. Threatening Day Without Dawn. I don't need to move fast. I just need to be careful and move slow. I have time. So I go ahead and spend the other will reinforcing Minister. It's just going to make Gondor a giant pile of no fun. You muster the mouth in Dol Guldur. That makes perfect sense. I pass. You draw black captain commands, and of course I have to move just in case that was a red tile. In a hunt pool that is 13 tiles of terrible with 2 red tiles, I successfully draw a 3, which is not the worst tile. All the eyes are 3s right now. And 2 red tiles. So honestly, somehow this 3 is one of the better tiles in the pool. And it's perfectly efficient. So I choose to kill Merry, and Pippin will lead the Fellowship forward. It was perfectly efficient, so honestly, I'll take anything that's efficient and doesn't reveal me is perfect. You draw into Palantir because you're just hunting for corruption. It's going to be tough, though. I have to make 4 moves and take 11 corruption. You're basically just going for reds at this point, right? Don't know. Yeah, I mean, what else do I suggest given this absolute hot mess of a military scenario for you? And then I go ahead and move Legolas, and then I reveal that was using Book of Mazarbul. I have a muster/hybrid showing. I could reinforce Dol Amroth in anticipation of a Corsair's move when I'm not ready for it. But I figure Gondor's going to be problematic enough as is. And I don't actually have that many more guys. I have some more to muster. But if I make Erebor at war, the Dew line is pretty safe. Erebor can move down to protect Dale. And I'm going to be at a hand limit and overdraw in a minute anyway, so I could play Danes, or I could play Guards, or I could play Book of Mazarbul just to not burn a card. I think that was a decent play, and it's just funny. So that's a strong point in its favor. Pelargir's attacked with a strategy card. Sure, you're going to be overdrawn, burn something. The Great Host, maybe. I do no card. You do the Great Host. You get one hit and the Great Host, and I get one back. Cool. The elite retreats to Lamedon in hopes of retreating to Dol Amroth. Nothing too crazy here. Next round. You get Grond and Return to Valinor, so a Deadly Strife's actually pretty good here. Grond ain't bad. I draw into I Will Go Alone, which is not helpful. Yep. And Spirit of Mordor, a Scout, is excellent, so the Lamedon guy can retreat. I'm assuming I'll burn the I Will Go Alone. Yeah. I really wish that card was a little better. Just a little better. I don't know what a little better is, but I wish it was a little better. You are reduced to allocating one eye. You roll 2 more, but 3 musters is not what you're looking here. So you're showing 4 attacks with the mouth, 5 with an Elven Ring, which the Elven Ring hasn't come up. Feels like somewhere might have been useful, but I don't know what it would have been. So, and I roll 4 character dice. So that's a thing. I don't move first, really. That feels categorically wrong. Why? Why muster there first? That does not need to happen first. That was incorrect play. You attack as Gileath from the Witch King. I feel like attacking Pelargir. Well, it's Gileath first, so I don't retreat as Gileath into. No, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. You're attacking as Gileath from the Witch King to cycle cards, I assume. You don't cycle a card. I don't know. I think your bread and butter. I mean, well, whatever. It's just the one guy. It's hard to cycle a card against him sometimes, at least emotionally. I then move, which I should have done first, and I hit an eye for 3 reveal, which is pretty painful. Pippin goes to corruption, and I'm revealed, and so now I have to make 3 moves without taking 8 corruption, and that starts to be a pretty big ask, with 2 red tiles in. This is, and I don't have any of the healing cards. I've burned Athelas already. So I'm looking for Bilbo's Song, Mithril Coat, and There Is Another Way, and the blue tiles. So 7 of the 17 cards in my deck are helpful to some degree on the mountain. It's at least something. You flip the mouth to put Minas Tirith under. Okay, sure. I hide. Yep, that's correct and reasonable. Minas Tirith is attacked. You're choosing to attack. Yeah. And you're cycling a character card. Yep. You got to do it. I burn Danes here. The Erebor's at war. I don't really need Danes, and chunking down this army is a pretty good idea, I think. Cruella's Death gets you nothing, and I say 1. Did I not remember the Valor? Did we not remember the Valor? I should have an extra hit on you there. Whoops. Oh well. Man, this game is hard to remember all the rules for some stupid reason, even the easy ones. Ah, geez. Well, we both missed it, so. And then I'm not going to move 2 more times. And I have guards, and We Prove the Swifter, and I have Heroic Death. I think this is a decent play. I'm not sure it's a great play, but I think it's a decent play. I pump 1 Ents card into Orthanc, which Again, phrasing today. I'm doing great phrasing today. And then I use We Prove the Swifter to dive under Minas Tirith. So now that stack is just going nowhere. It does unfortunately give you an excellent cycling location. And you have good use for these musters in Moria because you want to eventually take Lorien, so some elites in Moria makes total sense. I'm pretty sure this is wrong. I just thought it was funny. And as I was doing it, I was like, this has got to be wrong. But I don't want to move again, and I have no other use for this. I could move like Erebor to Dale with Legolas, but I had the Eagles Are Coming, and I wanted to play Eagles Are Coming. Again, that's probably wrong. The Heroic Death is just going to be more useful somewhere else than this. But I do get to roll, and you'll see I do it wrong. I should roll 4 dice. I don't. We say I kill 1, which is incorrect, but the Witch King doesn't move, and then we note that the 6 was the thing that should have killed him. So basically I just move your Nazgul away while you're showing a C, and it's not clear that you even want to hit Minas Tirith again right now. So that was a pretty darn useless play. You Shadows Gather to sit on Lorien, and then you get to attack. You're using Black Captain commands to attack. I'm not sure that's worth it. I would say save the Black Captain commands until next round when you can use it as a Palantir. And this turn, use a character die to put everyone in Lorien, because then you'll also get to have the Mouth with you. As is, the Mouth is not an Nazgul, so does not get to move with Black Captain commands. So we're attacking. You cycle Dread and Despair versus no card. I ask you to stop cycling. And you miss everything. And I get... Did you not forfeit anything? Right, you said no forfeiting. Why forfeit nothing if you're just cycling? I don't know. It was 0 both ways, so it worked out. You press, yeah, I guess. And you get Ring Wraiths Abroad, which is an excellent card for you. You get to play Deadly Strife. Yeah, that's probably fine. 4 Deadly Strife coming in, 4 Deadly Strife going back out. And now Lorien's going to fall. Which we kind of knew, but... Yep. It did its job of defending well enough. And I could still draw Celeborns. Oh, you drew Morgul Wound. I missed that go by. So that's pretty good. You have Morgul Wound for the +1 corruption at some point. And you draw Worn with Sore and Toil, which is a little late, and Shadows Moving, which could be useful for getting the something here to attack Dale. Maybe it could help, tie up Lothlorien. Maybe get some reinforcements coming this way. It's fine. Swarm of Bats is probably what that's used for. I get Mirror of Galadriel, which is my heroic death back, so I'm not punished for throwing Gandalf under the bus of Minas Tirith quite so hard. And a Daylight, which could make Lorien hold an extra die or 2, which would be nice. 1 eye allocated. Yeah, I say depending on hit if I hit the reds. I mean, if I don't hit the reds, it's a pretty easy walk up Mordor. But 1 eye allocated, 1 eye rolled. That makes the eyes only 2s, which is nice. But I don't roll any Cs. So I move immediately, having learned my lesson from last time. I get a 2. Excellent. Here's the thing. Do you reveal with Gollum? I need to move 2 more times and not take... So I'm going to take 2 here. If I don't reveal, I need to not take 6 corruption in 2 moves. But there are 2 red tiles. Obviously 2 corruption per tile, 2, 3 corruption per tile. I dunk just fine. But the red tiles... It's tough. And I go ahead and reveal to soak a damage. Unfortunately, this means you get to poke me with Morgul Wound, and I just take the corruption anyway. How likely is that I would have taken the corruption later and the corruption for not revealing? Probably pretty high. This did feel bad in the moment because there are obviously you haven't played almost any of the cards that take the Fellowship being revealed. So for all that things were going really well, and the military is still obviously in my favor, it's going to be a little tight. It's going to be a little bit of a tight one. I do burn an Elven Ring on a muster. Why a muster when I have Palantirs? I guess I just... I intend to draw a card. The muster isn't going to matter a whole ton because I have a Scouts to help protect Lamadon if needed. And I want to draw character cards. You cycle on Lorien, getting one hit, I get one back. You press, no card, you get only one. And I say Lorien holds to let you cycle another day, I get one back. You press again, and I heroic death to hope to burn an extra die out of you. Unfortunately, you do hit twice. And I don't hit back. So Lorien falls. Obviously, right now, I wish I had put the extra elite in there, but if I had, you would have gone somewhere else, assumably the north. Still, maybe it would have been worth it. Maybe you would have gone Rohan. Don't know. I spend the Palantir to draw Elven Rope, which is obviously pretty good here. You draw another red tile, which is a problem. I put in that this has been a good game, and it has been a great game. You were an excellent opponent, Cisseas. And I think this game was played pretty well. Honestly, I've pointed out a couple of minor things, but a well played game, I would say. You go ahead and put the red tile in. Yeah. That's your win condition is that. Yeah, suck. That's the correct response from me. It's now an 11 tile hunt with 3 red tiles. Yep. I pass. You muster in Minas Morgul. Sure. Military victory at this point is kind of a pretty strong second. I would probably suggest instead mustering an Umbar, hoping to draw Corsairs to take Pelargir, but that gets you to 7. Maybe 8's Dale. Boy, do you not have good options for the last 2. Woodland Realm, I guess, as long as I don't muster the other 2 elites or use Erebor in any useful way. Not great options. You muster in Minas Morgul again. I muster in Woodland Realm just to... Yeah, I'm noting the same kind of thing. Where are your other points possibly even kind of maybe coming from? You burn an Elven Ring on a hybrid to draw a character card. Well, that's how you know we're in Desperation Town. And you've drawn into Breaking of the Fellowship from cycling, which is actually great. Just a +1 corruption is excellent. And Lure to the Ring is just a +1 corruption. The downside is I'm only 2 moves from dunking. And both of these require that I be revealed. So they're going to be a minimal usage. I hybrid to Reinforced Helm's Deep just to protect against shenanigans. Same things I'm talking about before. Just no sudden quick takes of 2 tiles. I say if you have the last red tile, so help me. You instead play Ringwraiths Abroad, which is obviously great. I complained to the game a little bit. You attack Lamadon, and I have the Scouts, which gets played under your Ringwraith, so it's a little confused, but it's a Scouts. So I'm able to retreat into Dol Amroth and make a pretty good stack there. So we get into the next round, and I draw Mithril Coat and Eomer. So Eomer's is fine, Valor's fine. Mithril Coat's what I want to see, but you draw Shelob's Lair. Oh boy. And Shadow Lengthens. Another excellent card for you here, actually, to reinforce Minas Tirith with an army from like Minas Morgul and Yeah, you could make something happen here. Maybe. Fellowship's fine. 1 eye allocated, 2 eyes rolled, which is actually about the number you want because these eyes are extremely painful without being. I mean, obviously you wouldn't terribly mind rolling like 7 eyes, but because there's no Free People's Military Victory in the cards, there's no way that's happening. I roll plenty of movement, and I don't move instantly. This one I did think purposefully on. 3 red tiles are in. The likelihood that you've drawn a red tile just now is fairly low, but also like the difference that red tile makes is fairly minimal. And if I can make Dol Amroth hold longer so I can last longer, I'll take it. So I get to put the cheeky little one guy in Lothlorien and a leader in Dol Amroth. I'm threatening a retake of Pelargir with my 1 hybrid. You go ahead and put Shelob's Lair in. That makes sense. I say good thing I don't plan on drawing those yet. That's the hunt pool. What a trash hunt pool. I have some, if I draw just the ones, for instance, on the way up, yeah, obviously that's great. I'll even take the red one at that rate. But I don't know. Rough. I do think the hybrid would... Is the hybrid good here, honestly, to take Pelargir? You'll just attack from Lamedon, cycle on me. Actually, you won't cycle, but I don't know that. Yeah, I think just putting Elven Rope in is fine. Now you attack Lothlorien, and I have successfully made you burn an attack die, killing the mustering point. Mithril Coat and Sting is put into play. I don't need to move fast. I need to move carefully. And obviously with 4 reds in play, a Mithril Coat is going to be good. You army move out of Minas Morgul with not everyone. That feels a little wacky to me. You're not scared of Path of Woes or something. Even if there's a stacking limit you're trying to build against later, the one guy being in South Ithilion's better than the one guy being in Minas Morgul. I don't know. Meh. It's a very tangential thing. And then you Shadow Lengthens to make 2 full stacks. Sure. Okay, cool. You attack DA, put DA under. Cool. I teased that I wouldn't mind Círdan's ships or Imrahil. I move. So I'm going to have to... I want to keep moving. I need to move this round. I haven't yet. Here's my move. That's the hunt pool. When a 3 corruption eye is one of your best options. So it's 1/3 red tile, 1/3 eyes, 1/3 other things. Roughly. And I draw the 0 reveal. The best tile by far. Well, the blue tile. Still. Yep. That sucks for you. No reveal because Golem. That means Lure and Breaking are effectively going to do nothing. Unless I hit a red tile that reveals me for the last move. That was pretty clutch. You've had 2 red tiles in for all my moves, and I think 3 for one of them. And I've hit none of them. I did some math on that later. It's something like a 30 to 40% chance that I don't hit them given the pool sizes, which was actually a lot better than I thought it was. So it's maybe not as crazy good luck as it feels like it, but boy, it feels pretty crazy good luck. So now you're in Trouble Town. You flip the mouth to move. You attack DA. Strategy card. I suppose we could spend a while thinking, and I probably do I think I do in a hot minute about whether or not you should cycle with those character dice, but I'm not going to spend the time here. You swarm a Bats My Daylight. Cool. You roll 3 hits to my 2. Cool. And I say I remember a different Dol Amroth that fell with a splat. You onslaught, you get one more to my one more, then you choose to not onslaught. I think you should onslaught. I think you should onslaught 4. But that's kind of whatever. It doesn't really matter. I play Eomer. I don't know. I could muster somewhere manually rather than the Eomer. I'm not sure that's worth spending time on emotionally. You spend the Elven Ring to attack DA again. No card, and you get your hits. So two hits. You don't even get your third hit. Oh no, I get to hold out a whole nother round. Okay, you press. And you don't get it. Oh no. A whole nother round taking DA. That's rough. I draw into File. And Fear Fire Foes, the shield wall maybe will make a difference, but File is the important one. You get Dreadful Spells, which is a little late, and King is Revealed, which will... The Relentless Assault might do something. Fellowship, okay. One eye allocated, one eye rolled. I like to see that. All the moves I could possibly need. So Will, obviously I should move and try and dunk. But all 4 red tiles are in, so I go ahead and put File in first. Yep, that makes sense. DA is hit and DA falls. Cool. And here's a question. So this is the hunt pool. I win on slightly better than half the draws. I have to hit a red to lose. I know Bilbo's Song and There Is Another Way and 3 more blue tiles exist. 2 more tiles, blue tiles exist in the character deck. You have no more red tiles. I think we're missing Orc Patrol. Hasn't been played as a tile that could hit, as a card that could hit me. I believe Isildur's Bane can hit me without me being revealed. I believe that's correct, and it hasn't been seen. We saw Foul Thing. We saw Candles of Corpses. So I spend the time. Okay. So I was going to say, do I spend time drawing and then spending a Palantir? And I should be scared about Day Without Dawn here. So I go ahead and spend the will. Here's the hunt pool. Here's the move. And it's a 3. So actually pretty, not terrible odds of dunking there. Even if I hit a red... If it was the 3 stop, if it was the 1 stop, I actually still have a pretty good shot of just winning this round. Use a ring to hide and take another shot at it. So not too cheater of a win, but going up the mountain against 4 red tiles and not hitting any of them, that feels bad. So GG to you, a very well played game. Yeah, I don't think you had many options. You made a turn to corruption victory. Your military was actually not crazy far from getting what you needed. That 7-3 on Minas Tirith is actually going to have a hard time taking Minas Tirith with Gandalf there, and I'm holding guards of the Citadel. So that's actually kind of unlikely to be your next 2 points. With the dwarves at war, what's happening in the north? You weren't that far, but you also really far from a military victory. So the pivot to corruption seems to have worked for you. Yeah. So if you've watched my previous video, you'll know where I am in the tournament. The first round is a best of 3, so you'll know whether I've won or not. And if I need to play a third game. If you haven't seen the first game, you should definitely go watch the first game. I think it was a fun game to play. In both games, my opponent's been excellent. So again, Cisseas, thank you very much for an excellent game. loved playing with you, and the little banter we had back and forth was fun. We'll see if I continue casting my tournament games. I thought these were both fun enough to be shown. And I'll see you all in the next one.